If you're a natural people person, loaded with confidence, and you've got that gift for gab, then you've got no problem raising private money for real estate. But if you're more of an introvert, or maybe a little bit scared to ask for money, or the experience seems a little creepy or awkward or uncomfortable, and like you're bothering someone, then you're going to love this. But before I show you how to raise private money for real estate, click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, because I post cool stuff like this each and every week, and you don't want to miss it. All right, let's do it. Hi, my name is Matt Theriault. I am CEO of Epic Real Estate, and this is where we show people how to invest in real estate with an emphasis on retiring early. And one of the tried and true time-honored ways to speed up that process is by using other people's money. It allows us to leverage money in a way that isn't available to the average person in any other investment. I mean, you can get rich using your own money for sure, but you get wealthy using other people's money. Not to mention you get wealthy much faster. That's why they call it leverage. It maximizes what you already have to work with, giving you an advantage that you otherwise wouldn't have. So I've got the what, the why, the who, the where, the when, and the how when it comes to raising private money for real estate. And we're gonna go through each one of those in that order. So what is private money? Well, there are three types of money that you can leverage in real estate to accelerate your wealth creation. First, there's conventional money. That's the type of money that's offered at a bank. Don't really need a how-to video to access that. Second, there's hard money. That's the type of money that can be found with a simple Google search on the computer. Really easy to find too. And then there's the third, private money. And that, for some reason, is a huge mystery on how to find for people. Probably why you're watching me right now. And what they don't realize, another term for private money is relationship money. It's a mystery and it's difficult to find for most people because it's not clearly understood that the relationship has to be in place first. Most skip over that part, making it the mystery that it is, making it much more difficult than it has to be. Now, there is a fourth type of money that you can access for real estate, and it happens to be my favorite type. And I'm gonna share that with you a little bit later. I mean, you'll really appreciate it. But let's stick with private money for now because that's why you're here. And it is essential in accelerating your wealth creation. So it's important. That's what private money is. It's relationship money. You need the relationship prior to getting access to it. Now, why do you want to access private money? Well, it's typically cheaper money, doesn't cost as much to borrow. It's typically easier, not all the hoops to jump through. It typically comes with greater flexibility with the payback terms. And done right, it can be a limitless supply of funds for you and your real estate. In an appreciating market, it's not as critical to access. But when the market flattens out or even declines, conventional and hard money lenders, they tend to raise rates, they tend to raise fees, and they'll tighten their guidelines as well. So private money can be the only source of other people's money that will make sense for your deals. So who do you ask, where do you find it, and when should you ask? I'll get all three of those right in a row. The who is just about anyone. It can be friends, it can be family, it could be professional associates, it could be everyday acquaintances, it could be friends of friends. I mean, obviously they need to have some money or access to money to lend, but a private lender can be anybody, can look like anybody, can come from anywhere. No rules here. Where do you find them? Wherever there are people. I mean, don't overcomplicate this by looking for those secret locations of private money gatherings. Private money can be found at school gatherings like your parties and happy hours. It could be social gatherings, professional gatherings like Chamber of Commerce meetings, networking events, or industry organizations. Could be people that you see at the gym every day. Could be parents that you meet dropping your kids off at school. The locals at your neighborhood coffee shop. I mean, people are everywhere. Hello, Captain Obvious. I know, but I just got to cover all the bases. That's where. When do you ask now? Well, because we're talking finances with people and people act a little different around that conversation. Most people are private about their money. So exercise some discretion. Talking about it in big groups is probably not the best idea most of the time. I guess there are some exceptions, but typically one-on-one conversations are best. Now let's get to the how. Starting the conversation, this was always the most difficult part for me. It was so awkward and uncomfortable that I just wouldn't bring it up at all. And another lost opportunity. Again. And losing opportunities was getting really expensive, so I had to figure this out. And being the introvert that I am, I came up with 5 steps that I used to raise private money, my first $1 million of private money, and I still follow them to a T today. All right, so step 1, ask for permission to discuss. I mean, this was so simple, so obvious, and a total game changer for me. I mean, this could be the one tip that gives you the big breakthrough that you're looking for. It sounds something like this. After normal conversation, the pleasantries and the small talk about current events, whatever, at a natural pause in any conversation to be like, John, would you mind if I asked you a couple questions about your finances? When asked that way, I have never received a no to that question. So ask it. It removes all anxiety and gives you a free space to ask the next 3 questions, the 3 key money-raising questions. All right, so that's step number 2, these 3 money-raising questions. They sound like this. First one is, would you be open to a 10% return on your money? That's the question. Use those exact words. When asked that way, I've never received a no to that question. Second one, how much would you have available for that type of a return? Use those exact words. When asked that way, I always get a number, and then make a mental note of whatever they said. Third question, I'm working on a deal. I don't have it yet, but if I do get it, would it make sense for me to call you about it? Use those exact words, especially that last part. Would it make sense for me to call you about it? When asked that way, I've never received a no to that question. And now you're done. Make a mental note of the person's name and the number that they gave you, and then change the subject. If they ask more about it, because a lot of them will, just try and avoid that conversation by saying, you know what, it's not the right time. I'd rather just talk about it when it's actually real, and then just change the subject and move on. All right, now step 3. I want you to go back to your office or your home, enter all the yeses into a database or maybe a spreadsheet. You need their number and the number that they said. You want to enter their contact information, the phone, the email, the mailing address. Get it all. This is a relationship you're building. It's relationship money. The relationship comes first. You need all that information for any relationship. Don't come back to me and tell me that this doesn't work either. There's nothing you could tell me that would convince me otherwise. I've been successful raising money for more than 10 years doing it just this way. If it doesn't work for you, it's because you've rushed the relationship. And either they don't trust you or they don't like you yet. Relationships, they don't happen in a single conversation. So adjust your expectations there. All right, step 4, immediately write a personal note to them. I keep a box of these. And if you have one, include your business card and stay in touch like you would with any other relationship that you value. This is no different. I mean, Christmas cards are in order, birthday cards should happen, random friendly phone calls should be made. And if you don't know, I'm a real sneakerhead. I love Nike and Air Jordan shoes, and I've got an acquaintance. I call him a friend now, but it started out as an acquaintance. And he'd be one of those guys standing in line in front of the Foot Locker early in the morning, hours before it opened, on Jordan release day, Air Jordan release day, and he'd hit me up every time he found something he thought that I would like. But in between those calls, he'd send me a text on every single holiday, like Father's Day, Veterans Day, he knew I was a Marine, St. Patrick's Day, and of course Easter, and then Christmas and Thanksgiving. Just something really simple like, Happy 4th of July, Matt. And I knew why he was doing it. He was building a relationship, but I welcomed those text messages. And I still smile every time I receive them. He never misses a day. That's now a relationship, and I answer the phone every time he calls. So consider something as simple as holiday text messages to your private money relationship list. If this is making sense to you and you're thinking, I can do this, go ahead and click the like button for me. YouTube, they recognize that as something that you do like, and they'll go ahead and they'll show it to other people, to more people. I really appreciate you for that. Thanks. All right, so step 5, find the deal now. Nobody's going to give you any of their money until you have one. And make sure it is a deal, and make sure that you have it under contract before making that call to your private money people. The worst thing you can do is to go through all of this work, building relationships, and then ruin them by wasting their time with crappy or even mediocre deals, and especially when you don't have them under contract and they're just big maybes at best that eventually never happen. When you can check those boxes, good deal, check. Under contract, check. Now make the call that they said that would make sense to make. That's my introvert's guide to raising private money. But there is another type of money that I like even better. It's that 4th source that I promised in the beginning. And by getting access to it, it's gonna greatly decrease the amount of private money that you're even gonna need. I'm talking about the seller's money. I'm talking about creative financing. Creative financing is where you replace the money that you need with an idea. And in the world of the epic real estate investor, we know these ideas to be terms. As long as you can control one, the price or the terms, you can always make a deal for yourself. So to help my clients do that, what I do is I give them these cheat sheets. This is what they use when they're putting their deals together. And if you'd like copies of these, you're welcome to them. Go to epicbreakthrough.com. You can follow in the footsteps of my private clients that have all replaced their day job's income with passive income. Take that first step for yourself by just going to epicbreakthrough.com. Get these cheat sheets. That's a great beginning. Before you go, share with me below what you found most valuable today and how you plan to begin using other people's money for your real estate investing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.